Hey, everybody. I know we said we were going to try to get back on a schedule, but, life got in the way. COVID got in the way. It's just an excuse. But Steve and I are back for another episode of the Steel Target Paint podcast. Steve, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Jeff. How are things down in sunny Florida?
Mostly sunny, but we are into that rainy season. Was at the range yesterday working with some juniors, and the first session was completely dry, and the second session got very wet. But we kind of stepped off the range for about a half an hour, let the rain pass, and then just dealt with the humidity.
Man, I don't know how you deal with that. It's humid in Georgia, but we've had some bad storms here the last week, and it's been humid. It wasn't raining yesterday, or just prior to it raining. It was 95% humidity, and it was thick. I don't know how many degrees the heat index or whatever it feels with that level of humidity, but it felt hot. But
Yeah.
the good part is we did some prayer and sent some notes to the big guy. We're going to have fantastic weather in Area 5 this weekend in Indiana. So
That's awesome. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people. I see a Facebook post. The Cunninghams are on the road, and you'll be heading out soon, and it's going to be a good match. It's definitely one is on my bucket list, but just couldn't make it out this year.
Yeah, I think we're going to have 9 or 10 members of Steel Target Paint there. It's going to be crazy. Kurt and his wife Maria are up there. John Holbrook's going. Bailey Gallagher's going. The Cunninghams are going. Ben's going. And I know I'm missing somebody.
Chris Barrett.
Chris Barrett. How can I forget my man Chris?
He's forgettable.
Chris
he's an also-ran. He's just an also-ran,
Yeah, just don't tell him I said that. Man, I should have had a list ready because I know I'm forgetting somebody else. But second, certainly a lot of second-tiered sponsor shooters are going to be there as well. So it's going to be a good time. I think this is going to be a good benchmark for who's ready or who's not, because we should have just shot the World Speed Shoot. So you've got a lot of the top rimfire and PCC shooters in the country will be there. Grant Kunkel's going to be there. Mackenzie's going to be there. Chris is going to be there. Yeah, it's going to be. And you got some up-and-comers. Lance is going to be up there. He's been throwing down some sick times to see if he puts it all together this weekend. It's going to be. I'm going to predict that the top. I'm going to call it the top 10 times are going to be under 70 seconds.
That's it's a bold, not even a bold prediction, because the way people are putting in times and who you got coming to that match, it's extremely possible.
Yeah.
70 used to be that bellwether number, and I'm guessing if you go out and shoot a 70 in PCC or rimfire rifle, you're going home going, what happened?
That's right. And I'm also going to predict it'll definitely be a sub 63. I bet you it's going to be, maybe somebody's going to lose their mind and shoot a 59 or something like that. But I'm going to say sub 61's going to win it.
Wow.
Going to take the whole thing. There's a couple people that are going that have the possibility to do that, but I think it's going to be at least sub 63 that's going to take it. But I'm getting a little froggy. I'm going to say sub 61 is going to take it. So we'll see how it all pans out. You got to have a good match. It's got perfect weather. I think it's got the makings to be a fast match.
Well, it's interesting when you talk about, sub 63, and we got a couple months yet to the World Speed Shoot, but I was playing around and looking at the records that have been set, and, kind of just thinking to myself, based on the way people are shooting. Now, granted, people haven't had as much chance to shoot, but people should be able to get back into the swing of things and be ready for the World Speed Shoot. So when you look at 13 divisions, 8 stages per division, that's 104 world records. Now, interestingly enough, there's actually 105 world record holders, because last year 2 guys shot the exact same score on a stage?
Oh, that's interesting.
You want to take a guess at the division, the stage, and who they were?
No, you're setting
Come
a
on,
brother up, man.
You got less than a 1% chance of getting it right. I just thought I'd give you a chance. Okay, so
I'm gonna say that it's the Rimfire Pistol Open division. Am I close?
Nope. So we're going to start
See?
with the two competitors. Okay. Cole Busch and Nate Gibson.
I will go PCCI.
That you got correct. Now,
Really?
yes.
Yay, me.
Now you got a 1 in 8 chance of picking the stage.
Showdown.
Good guess. Good guess.
Is it?
I'm going to, but it's not right.
Oh.
But I'm going to get, it was a good guess. Any of your guesses would have been good, but now I'm going to give you the time. It was a 7:01.
Ooh. Man, that could be one of, and it's PCCI.
Mm-hmm.
That's like one of 4 stages.
Yeah, well, you already picked Showdown.
I'm going to go Roundabout.
You nailed it.
There you go.
So Cole and Nate share the world record at 7:01 for Roundabout in PCCI. What's really interesting is that in Showdown, Nate set the record at a 6:74.
Wow. That's
And
blazing.
Cole set the record for Smoke and Hope at a 6:13.
That's blazing fast.
Some crazy shooting. So, I've asked this question out there before on social media, and the question was, what shooter holds the most world records?
Now you want me to guess again?
Go for it. This is fun.
It's interesting because you've got. I think that there's a big difference with the centerfire shooters. You've got a handful, maybe it's 4 or 5 centerfire shooters that battle. Well, I would say maybe even the top 3 in limited production and open when they're shooting those divisions. I'm going to say it's BJ Norris.
You are correct.
Yeah, he's run the gamut the last 3
Yep.
or 4 years. He shot extremely well.
Yep. And again, all of BJ's come in all the centerfire guns. He doesn't have one in the rifle or one in rimfire. But he owns all.
Yeah.
He owns all 8 in limited, and he owns 7 of them in single stack.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So
That is truly amazing.
there's some. I mean, this is a who's. I'll just run down the list here a little bit. You got BJ at 22, Colby at 13, Max at 12, Cole Busch at 9, Casey, Michael Pogge, and Jeremy Michalik at 7. And I don't think Jerry shot a match in 10 years, which kind of tells you what he was doing back then with an optical sight revolver is pretty amazing.
That is crazy, isn't it?
Grant's got 4, Shane Coley's got 3, Jared Stanger's got 3, and then Nate's got 2, Chris Barrett's got 2, Mac Bragg's got 2, Josh Baldridge has 2, and then rounded out with Ethan Indicano, Ron Oliver, Tony Martin, Dave Savigny, Ryan Flowers, Eric Leach, Anthony Spinelli, Christian Saylor, Josh Lentz, and one of my favorite people.
Oh, who's that, Jeff?
Steve Foster.
Stop it, I'm blushing.
So, but it's interesting too, because you're talking about 104 records that is shared by 24 people.
I think that's probably the most interesting statistic. 24 people have set 104 world records, set or 105.
Well, technically, because they share one, but technically there's 104 up for grabs. They're Nate and Cole are co-owners of the record at this time.
That is nuts.
So here's the other one that I found interesting, and I want to get your perspective on something here. 104 records. Guess how many were set last year?
Jeff, I think I already know the answer.
Let's hear it.
43.
That is correct. 43. Almost half of the stages saw a world record set last year. And, not surprising. PCCI, PCCO, every stage had a world record set last year. Rimfire
That's
Rifle
crazy.
Open, every stage had a world record. No, excuse me, sorry. 7 of the 8 stages had a world record set. And I don't know if we're going to see 43, but I'm going to go on a limb and go, we're going to get at least 35.
That's a pretty strong. I mean, the game has gotten faster, specifically in those divisions that you talked about. All the rifle divisions, all the rimfire continue to get faster and faster. I was looking at some of the times earlier today, and the rimfire pistol open division is blazing fast.
Mm-hmm. Scary fast.
Yeah, I think we may get a couple there. I think rimfire rifle open, I'm going to say half of those are going to go down in flames. And it's just anybody's day. You know what I mean? Because even like on Smoke and Hope, I have that's my world record on a rimfire rifle open. It's a 596. That easily could be a 550, 570, just if one of the top 5 people show up and shoot the stage well.
Well, you said it earlier, talking about Area 5 and thinking you're going to see, maybe a 63 or lower. And I'm not taking anything away from any shooter who accomplishes that, but you have to have all the stars line up for you. And your skill can take you a long way, but you got to have a gun that runs. And, you have one round that's a failure to fire. That can put, you have to work past that. If you have a jam, these are all things that you can't have happen. I'll bet money that if we were to talk to Chris right now, when he's talking about when he shot sub-60s, everything was perfect. Like, there were no hiccups in those matches. And
I think Chris Barrett is a very interesting example, and I think Grant is right there with him. Grant's pace at which he fires the gun is extremely, extremely fast. And I think that Chris is the same way. I think that he's just been able to pull it together a little bit more on some of these key matches. And I'm sure some other people, I think Grant may have shot a sub-60 at a local match. And I'm not taking anything away from him for doing that, because I think that's a great feat. I think we all would agree that doing it at a level 2 or a level 3 match is a bigger of a deal, and certainly it'll be interesting to see if somebody can pull it together at the World Speed Shoot. But one of the things that I've noticed in Chris's game in the last 6 months, because we shoot quite a bit together, is his pace of shooting. I mean, and it's not on the first shot. His first shot and my first shot are pretty similar. Sometimes I'll get him, and sometimes he gets me. But it's his ability to transition the gun and pull the trigger. It's unlike anything I've ever seen, Jeff. I mean, and I've told people this, that if Chris pulls all of that together at the right time, I think he could shoot a 56, 57. I mean, he is that fast. I've seen him shoot
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that regarding his time, because, again, me, data nerd, looking around for stuff. The world record for all the stages in rimfire rifle open, when you add up all the times, for the best times. Now, again, remember, everybody, a world record can only be set at the World Speed Shooting Championships. Doesn't take anything away from you shooting a great score at a local match or even a level 2, but it only counts as a world record if you do it on the big stage at the level 3 World Speed Shooting Championships. So that total time is a 58:48. Now, I went into the Steel Challenge Shooting Association website, and I looked at what Chris's best times add up to.
Oh, his classification times?
His classification times.
Oh,
it's
it's
54.6.
Oh, yeah.
And for fun, I looked at yours. Yours is a 56:05.
See, I'm the slow old guy. I should be in my own protected class. I'm over 40.
Hey. That's my line. That's my line, Steve, okay? You're not even close to being as old as I am.
So how about we have an adult division? Let's call it that.
We have an adult division. It's the division between junior and
Geez.
senior.
Hey, let me rethink my argument here. All right, carry on, Jeff.
Well, anyway, so yeah, I think that was fun. But I actually, you mentioned Area 5, and I just thought of something that I'm actually going to be there in more than just spirit, because something I own is actually going to be at that match, and you're going to help me get it.
Oh. I haven't sent you the freight coat yet, have I?
Yes, exactly. So for the joke that Steve and I are talking about here, I bought some 18 by 24 inch plates from Carl McKeever at GT Targets, and I didn't want to pay for shipping. And so I just paid for them a couple months ago, and I said, hold on to them. And my good friend Kurt Omensetter was going to bring him down to the South Carolina match. Well, that match never happened because Corona hit. So what was it, about a week, 10 days ago, I realized that Area 5 is coming up, and I know Kurt always goes to it. So I called Steve, and I said, you going to Area 5? He's like, yeah, I'm going to Area 5. How'd you like to do me a favor?
I told the wife, I said, now you got to clean out your van. I was going to take my little commuter car, but not anymore. Jeff screwed that up for me.
Sorry, Teresa.
You know.
So, but yeah, so Kurt is being very helpful in bringing 2 plates from Pennsylvania over to Indiana, and then Steve is going to grab them from Indiana and store them at his house for a couple of weeks, and then he'll be down for the West Florida Steel Challenge Championships and deliver my plates. And I really appreciate both your help in that.
Yeah, not a problem.
So, well, there's some other matches that are, big matches that are actually helping to come up, and one of them's had a little bit of a controversy. Do you think we should talk about that?
Controversy. I love controversy. Yeah, let's talk about it a little bit. You want to talk about the Alabama State Steel Challenge Championship?
Let's talk about it. It's a good match. I have yet to shoot it. I have wanted to shoot it every year, and something's always come up. It's a hike for me to get up there, but I love getting up there, seeing Cam Tanner and Billy Hall and Connor and everybody else who shoots steel in that area. I'm going to miss a lot, but Lee Kerr and just the whole crew up there. A great bunch of people. I love shooting at the CMP, and that's where the state match is going to be. But they're changing it up this year.
All right, so Vance is putting on this match with John, and those guys have done a lot of great things over at the Alabama, both state match as well as the local matches. And so they wanted to improve the match, and so they sent out a survey to a handful of folks. When I say a handful, I think it may have been 100 people or so. And one of the questions on there, some of it had to do with lunch, and some had to do with T-shirts. And, so I respect and appreciate them asking some of the questions that you and I have covered on the podcast at least a few times. So it was good that they reached out to the competitors to see what their preference is. One of the constraints of the CMP is, I don't know if it's state law, CMP rule, but they can't start prior to 9 o'clock local time, so Central Standard Time. So what ends up happening, I think it's more in the, I don't know if it's in the spring or the fall, but if the match gets behind at all when you're running 8 stages and you shoot both sessions, oh, you're there from 9 o'clock or certainly before, and then you're shooting just about when the sun's going down.
Absolutely.
So it can be a long day. So one of the questions was around, do you want a 6-stage match or an 8-stage match? And so the 6-stage match won out. There's quite a few people around the match. Folks have never 6-stage level 2 match, and fortunately, I've shot quite a few of them. Your match a couple times, South Carolina a couple times, and there was another one that I'm losing. It may have been Tennessee match when I shot that one a couple of years ago. That was a 6-stager, and I actually like it. I don't really care what 6 stages you use because I think one of my strengths is shooting outer limits and speed option pretty well. So that helps differentiate me. But in terms of the other stages, it doesn't matter to me. And what I posted in one of their team forums is number one, I appreciate these guys reaching out, but and thank them for putting together the match. But also share with folks that haven't shot a 6-stage match before, at least at that level. It's actually a lot of fun, and it's not a noon session.
Yeah, I agree. Again, with that CMP, and I think it is an Alabama state law, you can't shoot a gun before 9 in the morning. Even the World Speed Shoot, those morning sessions only have 8 guns on them when we're shooting all 8 stages for just a similar reason. So when you look at shooting a 6-stage match, you can put 10, you might even be able to squeeze it to 12 and still get done at a relatively good time. As a match director myself, I tend to use 3 minutes a shooter. So if you're running 10-man squads, it's a half an hour squad. You're running 6 stages, that's 3 hours. Start at 9, end at noon, break for lunch, start again at 1, end at 4, and you're done. And I think what a lot of competitors don't always see is the behind-the-scenes work that has to go on with range officers, Mr. Fix-It, range master, and all this. Now, we all do this because we want to make sure the match runs successfully. But while you might be there for one session, they're there for both sessions, probably half an hour before, half an hour after. They're there a lot longer than you are. And so while the reasoning behind the change in the Steel Challenge rules to allow a level 2 match to be 6 stages, specifically not, or minimally 6 stages, specifically eliminating only outer limits and speed option, was also due to, sorry about that, people, was also due to the size limitations that a lot of ranges have on those matches, or on those stages. At the Wyoming Antelope Club, we just don't have the space, the bay size, to be able to shoot either one of those. And that's exactly why there was never a level 2 Steel Challenge match at the WAC until that rule changed. And then, we're coming up to the 3rd one this year. And we enjoy it, and it works really well.
Well, and the other thing that they did as well, which I thought was a good move, is that they reduced the entry fee a little bit to kind of commensurate with going from 8 stages to 6, although there's not really, a big consumable side to Steel Challenge outside of the paint.
The paint.
Larry takes care of those guys from the paint perspective. So, yeah, it's, don't get me wrong, if you want to, I wouldn't advocate a World Speed Shoot to be 6 stages because that's not what that's all about.
Exactly.
But,
Same
however,
U.S. Steel, same one.
Yeah.
U.S. Steel, and actually area matches are considered level 3, and they need to be all 8 stages. But your state level matches, your special matches, if you've got the time, if you've got the space, you've got the staff. Yeah, run all 8 stages, but consider running 6 because, one of the first ones you may have ever shot might have been the West Florida the first year, wasn't it, Steve?
Actually, it was the South Carolina.
South Carolina.
It may have been even the same year. Yeah,
I think it was the same year. And I remember us both remarking on how this was great. I mean, we were getting off the range. We had fun. We got to shoot. And everybody's having a good time. And it really worked out well.
But at the end of the day, I really commend those guys for stepping out and saying, hey, what do you shooters feedback about the 6 at the gate? It was about, do you want lunch included? Do you not? Do you want to raise the match fees by X amount of dollars? I don't know if it was 10 or $20 for a match shirt. I don't know about you, Jeff, but I'm sure you've got a drawer or maybe a closet full of match shirts. And, some of them I'll do, but most of the time it's like, do I really need another shirt? So
yeah, I'm with you on that.
It's just great that they give, competitors an opportunity to provide input. So, and hopefully they follow our other guidance that we've talked about with snacks and all that kind of stuff, water at stages and those types of things.
Well, that's it. We've talked about it on here a number of times. We've had Zach on, and we've had other people who are match directors, and I'm a match director, and I really believe that the success of a match is based on stages set up correctly, starting on time, competent ROs. I believe in feeding the competitors between sessions. That's a personal belief. So that's, I guess, a little perk.
100% agree.
Not all matches do.
100% agree.
Yeah, you don't have to feed everybody steak tips. We simply, we'll probably do it again this year, but the first 2 years we did public sub rings.
Yeah.
The goal is not, most shooters aren't going to fill up at lunch. It's enough to get you through the day so you can shoot the second session effectively without getting hungry, and then go have a good dinner afterwards. But it's you look at Florida, you could bring a cooler, and unless it's like super insulated, by lunchtime, there's a good chance that everything inside of it's melted. And so providing lunch, I think, is a benefit. It doesn't cost that much. And of course, we're going to have cases of water available down here. The match is in mid-July. It's going to be hot, and the chances it's going to get rainy. But we're still going to have the match because that's what we do.
Well, the other thing, I think that there's a handful of folks that are vocal about it, about that match specifically. But I looked earlier today, there was quite a few people already signed up. I don't know if there's a couple hundred, but it didn't look like that was deterring people from attending. So that's a good thing. But it's just going to be refreshing because I think this Area 5 match, as far as I'm aware, is the first major match after all this craziness started. And the first major match of the year, of course, was the Georgia State match. So it'd be good to get back in the saddle.
Yeah, let's just do a quick peek here since I'm sitting in front of the computer, and we'll go to matches, and we'll go to view list. It doesn't show the back ones, so yeah. I mean, it's definitely listed at the top. Area 5 is listed right at the top.
Well, I know that there's been quite a few SASP matches, and certainly USPSA has picked up. There's been a couple major USPSA matches in the last 2 weeks, but in terms of Steel Challenge, this is the first major one that I'm aware of.
Yeah, actually, let's see. If we'll go to results. Yeah, the only match listed above a Tier 1 match on the results of the Steel Challenge website is the Georgia State match. So you're absolutely correct. Well, super. Well, Steve, have a safe trip to Indiana and a good match. Make sure you say hi to everybody up there, everybody who's listening to this. If you, well, there's a chance this could come out before it, but probably it's going to come out after Area 5. So
Sure.
we'll have to do a recap of on the next episode on how Area 5 went for everybody.
Yeah, maybe we can do a podcast on the way home. We'll see.
Ooh, that would be interesting. And for those that are listening, I'm going to joke with Steve right now because, Steve's in his car right now and his voice digitized a little. And I've always said he's so fast because he's part robot. And I think this is the proof, the way his voice is digitizing because he's actually part robot.
Too funny.
All right. Well, listen, everybody who's traveling this weekend, be safe. Everybody who's shooting this weekend, shoot fast, have fun. Remember, this is a game, and you're supposed to be having fun when you play games. All right?
Absolutely. It's good talking with you again, Jeff. Take care.
Same here, Steve. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye.